Of all the great figures in the history of the United States, Dr. Leo S. Rowe may rank among the least known, yet he is one of the greatest leaders in the inter-American system. He served as Director General of the Pan American Union from 1920 until his tragic death in 1946. During his 26 years as Director General, Dr. Rowe was an important contributor in the field of international relations for promoting peace, security, and the union between and among the American nations and peoples. Throughout his career, Dr. Rowe gave hundreds of inspirational talks. He was convinced that Pan-Americanism was one of the most significant movements of his time and that it was destined to have far-reaching consequences both for the civilization of the Americas and for their influence in world affairs. Leaders don't talk in vain, they follow with action. Once named Director General of the Pan American Union, Dr. Rowe, characterized by his humble demeanor, continued to live in his apartment and customarily walk to work. He chose to cap his salary at a level below his position, in spite of the members of the Council of the Pan American Union wanting to raise his salary. However, in 1926, the members of the Council agreed to increase Dr. Rowe's salary by 50% for Rowe to use at his discretion. As per Rowe's request, a separate fiduciary account was created called the Leo S. Rowe Emergency Fund, which still exists today as a grant to employees to help offset catastrophic events. From that moment on, Dr. Rowe also used part of his money to help finance Latin American youth that were studying in universities in the United States. At the same time, Dr. Rowe lent money to employees who had some type of emergency or who wanted to continue studying. On September 17th, we celebrate Dr. Rowe's anniversary. His life's work is not fully represented by his professional stature, but by the innumerable souls that his most humble and compassionate acts of kindness touched and continues to touch through his legacy. It was his sincere love for individual students that gave him a place in history. Hundreds of students became deeply indebted to him. Not only did he serve as guardian to many international students, but he also helped them financially when in need. He was one of the few people who always fulfilled a promise, said one of them. Dr. Rowe was a professor at several universities, including the University of Pennsylvania, Georgetown University, Williams College, the Universidad de Chile, and the Universidad Nacional de La Plata. He was later called a citizen of the Americas. Characterized by his humility, ability to solve problems, and good sense of humor, Dr. Rowe served as mentor to many youngsters. When he was in his mid-70s, Dr. Rowe met Gabriel Betancourt, a 26-year-old international student at Syracuse University. Dr. Rowe advised Gabriel between 1944 and 1946 in the completion of a thesis for the creation of a student loan program, which serves as the basis for the creation of ICETEX. Dr. Rowe died on December 5, 1946, hit by a car as he hurriedly crossed Massachusetts Avenue on his way to a reception at the Embassy of Bolivia. His body was cremated and the ashes placed inside Dr. Rowe's bust in the Hall of the Americas. Dr. Rowe left the bulk of his estate, equivalent to some $6.5 million in today's prices, to the establishment of the revolving loan fund, the Leo S. Rowe Pan American Fund, or the Rowe Fund Program. Since its inception in 1948, the Rowe Fund Program has awarded interest-free loans to thousands of Latin American and Caribbean citizen students to help supplement the cost of their tuition and living expenses while studying in the United States. Many beneficiaries have contributed to the social and economic development of the region by occupying key positions in their country's private and public sector, academia, and the arts. The Rowe Fund also provides interest-bearing loans to staff members of the OAS General Secretariat for their or their dependent studies. Dr. Rowe was also known to have an innate ability to recognize the achievements of his employees and to ensure their well-being. This is why many years later after his death, the Leo S. Rowe Award was created to recognize those staff members who in their work contribute to promoting the principles of collaboration, solidarity, and union that characterize Dr. Rowe. 2018 marks the Rowe Fund's 70th year of proudly fulfilling Dr. Rowe's vision. This is why on September 27, 2018, the Permanent Council adopted Resolution 1111, rendering tribute to a great man whose human qualities and sincere care for students continues to live on in thousands of Latin American and Caribbean beneficiaries.